welcome back to Decisive Squirrel Homestead. It has gotten really hot outside. We were up to 111 yesterday, but okra is loving life. We have a whole bunch of okra to deal with, and we have found a great way to save this for the future. So we're going to walk you through how to store fried okra for use at some later date. Now the kitchen is not super clean today because we have been doing a lot of work. We preserved 15 to 20 pounds of cucumbers. We're in the process of that. We started that yesterday. Did some of it today, some of it will happen tomorrow. And we are also working on canning up purple whole peas, which are also loving the heat. And then we have all of this okra. So the kitchen is not spotless, but that's real life. I'm sure nobody's kitchen is spotless all the time, or maybe it is, but that's just not me. But we can work around what we've got here. So I'm just starting off by rinsing all of this okra in a big sink full of water. I did clean the sink. It's just the rest of the kitchen that's a mess. Get all of this rinsed off so we can start slicing it. Once the okra is rinsed off, we're going to slice all of it into about 1/2-inch slices. Now some of these okra pods are way too big, and they're probably going to be woody when we cut into them. Anything that feels too tough when we cut it just gets thrown away. Don't be afraid to harvest small okra off your plants. These little tiny ones are super tender, they're awesome, and the plant's just gonna make more once you pick off of it. So it's totally fine to pick really small pods. You're just getting them all out of the way.
As well.
Now, if you've cooked with okra before, you know that it's slimy when you cut into it. And once you cut it, it gets slimier the longer it waits. So I don't like to move it around or mess with it too much. We cut it, and then it's going straight over here into just plain whisked up eggs. If you were doing a normal amount of okra, 2 eggs would be fine. I think we have 8 in here. It doesn't really matter. You're just looking to coat the okra in the egg. And the idea is for the okra to sit in the egg for about 10 minutes. So we don't leave it sitting out on the cutting board. It just goes straight in there. Okay, these have all been chopped, and we're gonna make sure they all get mixed up. And everybody is coated with egg. Actually cut into pieces. While the okra is sitting in egg wash, I'm going to start heating up oil. I'm just using plain vegetable oil because I can heat it up to the temperature I want. And I'm going to use our pasta pot to fry these because I'm hoping I can put breaded okra in the basket and just set it in, and that's going to be a little bit easier than trying to add spoonfuls or handfuls of it to the oil. And it's probably going to take this whole bottle, maybe more, which is the reason we're doing it like this, so that we only have to fry one time. We're not wasting a bunch of oil. If I fried it every time we eat it, I would go through a lot more oil. I'm going to save the container to put the dirty oil back into after we're done frying. I'm not sure that's enough. Let me see how deep that is. Nope, definitely not. Gonna have to add more. Now I'm not gonna be able to totally fill this basket with breaded okra because that would just be way too much. It would all clump together and it wouldn't fry well. But I do want the oil to come up into the basket far enough so I can completely submerge at least a layer of okra at a time. And that's gonna save me a lot of time over having to do spoonfuls of it or injuries from trying to do it by hand. So I've put a thermometer on here and gotten this going. I'm looking for it to get to 385 degrees, which is really hot. It's gonna take a while. So while that's heating, we're gonna start breading the okra. So I've tried to bread the okra in a bowl before and learned that didn't work as well as it works in a Ziploc bag. So I'm gonna need more breading than this by the time I'm done, but we're gonna start with a reasonable amount for this size bag. And it's not an exact science. You don't have to be super careful with the measurements, but it's about 1 1/4 cup of cornmeal, and then about 1/4 cup of flour. And we add some salt. And some cayenne pepper. And I don't remember doing this. I got the cumin out. There's a joke around here that I put cumin in absolutely everything, but I didn't mean to put cumin in this. So it's just cornmeal, flour, salt, and cayenne pepper. So that's just in a gallon Ziploc. I'm gonna make sure that's mixed up really well. And then this okra that's been sitting in egg is gonna go in the bag, and we don't wanna overload the bag too much. We want space to be able to shake it around. And I just kind of make sure there's not too much egg, that it's not like dripping off. And 2 or 3 big handfuls can go in this bag. We can get away with a little bit more. So now that I'm down to the bottom of the bowl, there's a little bit more egg, and I just want to make sure I don't bring too much of that over. Wash my hands off. And we're just going to seal this bag up with some air left in it so it's still poofy, and just shake everything around in there. So once everything's coated really well, we're just waiting for our oil to heat up so we can fry it. So my oil is heating up. It's almost to about 250. It needs to get to 375. I think I said 385 earlier. That's wrong. The bags of okra, if you hold them upside down into a corner, all of the breading wants to fall down to the bottom here. And then you can open up the corner of the Ziploc just a tiny bit and let out all of that extra breading. So then you don't have a whole bunch of extra breading to contend with when you're trying to fry, so it doesn't gunk up the oil quite so bad. It's just an easy way to get some of it out of the way. All right, so after the okra is done frying, we put it on some paper towels to let it drain for a little bit, and then we're just gonna spread it out on cookie sheets and flash freeze it. And accidentally throw some to the dog, because again, real life. So we just wanna spread this out and freeze it like this so that when we put it in bags, it's separate, it's not all clumped up together, and that way you can get just one serving out at a time. And then once this is frozen, then you can put it in bags and it'll stay separate. And then when you're ready to eat it, if you have an air fryer, you put it in the air fryer at 385 degrees for about 10 minutes. It depends on how much you cooked it beforehand, 5 to 10 minutes. And to me, it actually tastes even better than when it's fresh. So this is a great way to save okra for a long time because you can leave it in the freezer, in the deep freeze for a while. And it's a way to save this summer food that we have a huge abundance of right now. Hope y'all are doing well, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.